Today we're going to be learning about environmental art. We're going to focus on the what, the who, the why, and how. So let's start off with, what is environmental sustainability? What does art have to do with the environment? Why is art a valuable tool? Who is currently creating environmental art installations and or art pieces? And lastly, how do we use recycling, upcycling, and redefining trash to turn it into art? As you're watching this video, I want you to think about the what, the who, the why, and the how. Okay, let's get started. Let's start off with the what. What does environmental sustainability mean? It means maintaining the world we live in. It is our sole responsibility as stewards of the earth that we act responsibly so that resources on the planet will be able to support many generations to come. To have a better understanding on the word sustainability, ask yourself this question: is plastic sustainable? As you're viewing these images, I want you to see all the devices, phones, computers, PlayStations, and ask yourself, are these items sustainable? What about batteries, light bulbs, or ink cartridges, or anything that comes from a device? Are they sustainable? Did you know that it takes millions of years for plastic to decompose? So what happens to all of the plastic devices, toys, etc.? After we're all done using them up, they're broken and we can't fix them, and so we just throw them in the trash. What happens to them once they're in the trash? I'm gonna tell you what happens. What happens is that it ends up in a landfill forever, taking up space on Earth because it doesn't decompose fast enough. Think about that. Millions of years for plastic to decompose. So you must want to know, what does this have to even do with art, right? What does environmental sustainability have to do with art? Well, let me start off by saying, environmental art and artists have used art as a way to make statements on things that hold us back in the world today. Art then allows for an easy conversation about things that are really important. For example, like too much waste, or climate change, or even pollution in the ocean. Art becomes an output. It allows for art installations, it allows for protests, it allows for a conversation that is difficult sometimes for people to hear, and art is a great invitation to that conversation. So let's go to the why. Why is art even a valuable tool? It's valuable because art becomes a form of activism, which can then lead to a form of protest. Artistic activism is a great tool to show the power of creativity, to move people emotionally, to push forward change on matters that are most important in society. It's whatever the majority is talking about that really needs an amplified voice. Art helps to shine a light on concerns that help inform others on what is affecting the good majority of people. Now that you have an understanding of sustainability and art as an act of activism, here are a few examples of artists that are making statements on environmental waste. So now it's your turn. Now that you've seen these examples, I want you to think about how you can create your own personal art statement. Let's talk about the how now. Let's quickly define what is reuse, recycle, upcycling, and redefining. Recycling is when you convert waste into usable materials. Upcycling is when you reuse discarded objects or materials in such a way as to create a product of higher quality or value than the original. Redefining is when you recycle an item, it goes back into production and is transformed into a completely different item. Essentially, recycled art is just creative work that is made from discarded materials that once had another purpose. Artists who make recycled art take those materials and make them into something new and wonderful. Now that you have an understanding of environmental art and what recycled art is, in the next video, you're going to be watching a demonstration of how I went and just looked in my yard and in my home and found all different types of items and created my own artist statement. I want you to sketch out your idea of what you think you want your artist statement to be. What materials do you want to use? What have you found in your home that is like in abundance that needs to be recycled? Something that's plastic based or broken toys or cartons, things like that. And then I want you to kind of imagine what you could recreate with those things. For example, one of the images that you saw previously in this video was an image of toothbrushes all lined up representing individual blades of grass. That was that person's form of protest in terms of talking about how there is an abundance of toothpaste and toothbrushes and how they don't decompose and how like they're taking away from our environment. They're polluting our environment. And so then we will then see a world where we will no longer see nature, but we will just see representations of nature in plastic. Really, first I want you to go and kind of look around, find what you have. Once you've identified what you have, make a list of those things, and then sketch out your idea. What I'd then like you to do is then submit that to me. All right, so let's go ahead and do that, and then you can watch the second video, which will then help you generate some ideas on how to put that all together and create your own art statement. All right, class, it was great chatting with you. Always is. I enjoy putting these videos together. Please let me know if you have any questions. All right, see you next time.